So now we basically just have to start hooking stuff up. So I'll show you how I'm going to attach all these things. So I'm going to do this within the prefab. I don't want to do this within the scene. That's messy. So we'll hook this up. We'll get it all working here. So we're going to go menu by menu through this and hook everything up. So nothing on the splash screen that needs to be changed. Also nothing on the load screen that needs to be changed, really not currently in its current form. In the main menu, there is text on the main menu, but other than that, there really isn't anything. Okay, so we're going to start with the customize menu because this is the big one. This is where most of the stuff that we're going to want to change is located. So we'll start piece by piece here. So we got our picker buttons here. We got an accessories button, a character button, and a profile button. And they're all part of a prefab. Let's see what that is by selecting it. So they're part of a category button prefab. So if we update one, it should update all. So let's open that prefab. Yeah, we can save the changes to the menu controller prefab as well. So we've got the background. Wait a minute. Oh, they used the texture I was not expecting. That's fine though. Doesn't matter. So they have their background texture. So we're going to want to hook this up. So this is going to be a stylable element, or the whole button itself is going to be a stylable element rather. So I'm going to drop this script in here. See, now we have a stylable, and this one is a button. So we're going to set it to button. And here's our background texture. We're going to grab and drag that into our background. Now we got to find our border. Okay, there's our border texture right there. I mean, you know, clearly it's called that, so it should be fine. We got our border texture, and these particular buttons actually need the text on them changed because they are not set up as Text Mesh Pro, I don't believe. I hate when this happens, when I can't see the thing in the prefab. I don't understand why that happens. The pain in the butt. It has something to do with like its actual location. No, I should be able to see the button right here, but we can't. So we're just gonna have to well, I guess we can edit it from the button itself. So we're gonna save out what I've done so far. Doing a lot of work for 2 changes. There's only a few of those buttons being used even. Okay, so go back out of this. So now if we look at our buttons here, they should be hooked up that way. So our picker panel here, and then each of these should have a stylable with their background and border. So let's just double check, just make sure. Looks good. Yeah, perfect. It's perfect. So we're going to want to change. We need to change the actual text here, this item name. Oh, man, well, it's already hooked up with the Is it? Does this text get translated? Oh, it gets changed at runtime. That's the problem. Well, we're going to want these buttons to be changed to Text Mesh Pro. And the problem is that we have this guy here on it, and oh well, this has possibility to use Text Mesh Pro as well. The issue is that all the text in our game has to be translated. So some of it was set up not as Text Mesh Pro, and that sucks because it is supposed to be. There actually is something that I just realized that we're going to need in our style profiles. In case we want a button to be grayed out. So I'm going to do that. There we go. My colors weren't showing up. So we're not only going to want a style for a button, but we're probably also going to want a disabled button style. That way, if we have a button that we don't want people to be able to access, there's a separate styling for that, because if we're in the Christmas time, we may not want the buttons to be gray if they're disabled, although it's probably always going to be like that, but yeah, you know. We could do that. We could just define this. And basically that's just like you're creating a class. It's the same kind of syntax. So we could define this to where the background color is always the same and stuff like that. So we could say I'm going to pop my style script over to the side here so I can look at it. So we can say background color is equal to color dot gray. I'm not sure if that'll be exactly the right gray, but it should be fine. And oh, oops. What else? The border color. I guess for a disabled one, the border color should always be black, probably. And has the text color changed at all? Come on, Unity. There's my buttons. No, so it looks like the actual text color didn't change. So we can have the text color just be white. And same with the alt text color. That way you won't have to actually set this up every time, and it'll be the same for all of them. background image. We'll just leave the background image because we don't actually want to change that. If the button's disabled, it's going to use the same background image as everything else. So we'll do that in code later, like, you know, we'll set the disabled buttons to be this style, and then we'll bring in this style on top. That way they'll get whatever texture the rest of the buttons have, and it'll just gray them out. And they'll only ever use this style if it detects that a button is actually disabled. That way we don't have to change it in the UI at all ourselves. It'll just work automatically if a button is set to non-interactable. Let's save that. And we'll see if my profile thing's updated, although these were just for tests, so it's not a big deal. The one problem with scriptable objects is that if you start adding stuff to the original code and you've already made copies of the scriptable object, sometimes it doesn't like that. Let's see. Let's look at my Halloween. Yeah, see, it actually like reset everything because it didn't like me doing that. So we could just reset the whole thing here. Yeah, see, now we've got our colors in here, the default colors. So maybe we should define all the colors with the default to just be like white or something. There's a better way of doing this, actually. I'm not going to have a button disabled. I'm going to have this somewhere else. So I'm going to have this in the actual stylerizer. It's going to hold this data. So it's going to have a public button style for disabled buttons. We'll save that. And then you can see if we go to our menu stylerizer here, because it's always going to be the same, I think, really. We're always going to want the button grayed out. I don't think we'll want to change it depending on, because that, you know, we could, but that would just make it confusing, I think. So you can see now we have a button disabled style. And it's set up the way that I set it up. So now we can just call on this anytime that we need to. So I need to write out this function still. So this is going to be what's called when we want to update the style of what we've got going on. So we're going to pass in a style into here. So we're going to pass in a style profile. Just in case we ever want to call this from somewhere else, you know, we could just use the current profile, but I think we'll pass in a stylable profile. And then we can like load them in if we want and stuff like that. And so what we can do is we can just set the current profile here. So we'll say current is equal to profile. And then we need to update all of our stylables. So we're going to have a list here called elements, and that's going to be all of our UI elements that need to be updated. It's going to grab every single last one of them. So we're going to go through that list. We're going to say for each stylable S in elements. I did have a dictionary just in case I need it, but what does that mean? And we're going to update everything within those. So we'll do s dot background is equal to profile dot background. Oh, right, we need to actually check. I forgot. So we're going to say, we're going to create a new thing here. So let's just do it in generic first. It's going to be a function call. Okay, actually, there's a better way I can do this. I didn't even really think about it. Let's just leave this for now. Let's go back out into our style profile. So instead of setting it like this, we're not going to want to do it like that. We're going to want to have it equal to this. So we're going to want to have each of our elements here have a type as well. So instead of having this panels button text field, we're going to have a list. We're going to have a public list of styles. And we're going to preset them up a little bit. So we're going to say we're going to want 3 at least. And what we're going to do is in here we're going to have a public, what did I call it again? Stylable type. We'll have the default one be panel, I guess. So that way, each of our styles that we have within this scriptable object will have a type as well associated with it, and that'll make it easier when we're looking through objects to see which one we want to set it to. We'll say, oh, this one's a profile, so grab the style for the profile from that style, or this one's a panel, grab the panel style from that style profile. That's the easiest way I can think of doing it anyway. I think this is how you do it. Okay, let's take a look and see if that works. I mean, it could also be a dictionary, I guess. It probably should be, actually, as opposed to a list. Oh no, it can't be, though. We're gonna have to create a dictionary out of that data afterwards, because a dictionary can't be serialized, so we need to be able to set this up within each of these style profiles within the editor. So unless I did a custom inspector or something, but that's going to take me too much time, I feel. Now we have our styles. These are our different elements. We have a panel, button, and input field. We can set these all up. Yeah, so this should work okay. We're just going to work with our default profile for now, too. So okay, so we're going to transform this into a dictionary upon receiving the data. So we come back out to what we were doing here in our stylizer. So we're going to take our current profile here and we're going to create a dictionary. Actually, we should probably make this global to the class. So we can do a public dictionary. And the first element is going to be stylable type. And the second element is going to be the style information. And we'll call this style data. Current style profile data. I know that's a long name. It's too long. Let's call it profile data. We'll make that into a new dictionary. We don't need to define that. And then what we're going to do here is we're just going to fill that dictionary. So we're going to say for each of the stylables, or no, sorry, we're going to say for each element in current. Why doesn't it like that? For each statement cannot operate on variables of type style profile because style profile does not contain a public instance or extension definition for get enumerator. Oh, because it's a scriptable object? Shit. Well, we can just use a for loop, I guess. Hopefully. Oh, I'm stupid. Right. So it's not. Yeah. Okay. We're not looping through the style profile. We're looping through current dot styles. And we'll say we're gonna add these to our dictionary. So profile data dot add v dot type and v itself. I think that should work. That should fill a dictionary for us, and it'll just give us that data plus the type, and that'll just make it easier for us to iterate through down here. So then we're doing a for each loop through all of our elements that need to be changed, and we're going to say s dot or we're s dot background. So this is the background color, I believe. No, sorry, that's the image. So if profile data at s dot type not implicitly convert type style. So, oh wait, background image is what I meant to use. So if the current profile data at that UI, the stylables type has a background image, then we're going to set that type's background image equal to profile data at s.type background image. Oh shit, one of them's a sprite? Oh, that's not. There. Okay, so that sets its background. And then we're going to say s dot, what else do we got in here? Background color. Need to look at the stylable class as well, so let's drag that over here. Oh, right. s.background.color is equal to profile data s.type background color, and so on and so forth. But what we don't need to, we just need to save this. So profile data at s.type is a style. So we're going to say, we're going to create a style temp is equal to profile data at s.type, and then we're just going to check temp instead of typing that every time. So temp dot, if temp has a background image, then set this stylables background image to temp's background image, and so on and so forth. And then we'll do s.border dot color is equal to temp dot border color And the text is the tricky part too. So we have a list of Text Mesh Pro objects. I'll probably just leave the text part off for now. And I'll add that in after. So I'm going to put a comment here. So now when this update stylables is called, and it takes in a profile, it's going to say for each style in the profile that we brought in, add it to the dictionary. And then for each stylable element that we have that we want to change, grab the profile data from the matching style and set the data accordingly. And basically we're going to want to change this at the beginning of the game, but there is a chance that we may want to change it like in different spots, but I'm going to try to change it all at the beginning of the game. The only issue with that is that sometimes objects end up being deactivated very quickly, so it needs to be done extremely quickly, but it may not be able to be done quick enough. So what we'll do is when a new menu opens, it will just check all the stylable elements in that menu and make sure that they're changed. And that won't be too hard on performance. That's only once in a while, every time you're changing the menu. We don't want to get into the habit of having this kind of stuff happening every frame, because that really causes a lot of problems and a lot of optimization issues. That's basically all we need for that for now. So we have it to update to whatever our profile data is, so that's really all we needed to do. So we just need to have a place to call that. So we could try calling it in here. Basically what I think I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to have a list of profiles to pick from, and we can just keep adding to that list. And we can do things like, if it's Christmas, use this one that we already have set up. One sec, guys. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just had to check on the kids. So one place that we're definitely going to want to call this is I'm going to want to create a little bit of a custom inspector for this, so that when you click on it, it just has a button to apply these changes. If the program is running, obviously it's not going to work if the program's not running. I mean, maybe we could make it work if the program's not running, though. Not very easily, though, because it needs to iterate through lists and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, no, we're not going to make it so that to do when the program's not running. But what I would really like to do if I had the time is write a custom inspector that actually previews what the buttons are going to look like. That would be so awesome, but that would take a very long time. So what I'm going to do instead is just create a little custom inspector add-on for this. And so I'll show you how we can do that. Basically what that is going to allow is that when you click on the object in the scene, it will have some custom stuff. So come back here, Unity, damn you. So when you click on this menu stylerizer here, this is what the normal inspector looks like. You can actually write code to improve this essentially. So I have this little editor folder here, and we're going to create a new script, and we're going to call it stylerizer menu stylerizer inspector. And these scripts have to be in the editor folder because they're Unity editor scripts. So we're going to open this up. Why is it opening another instance of Visual Studio? I hate when it does that. It should just open it in the one that I already have up. How does it do that? That's so dumb. Anyway, and this is not going to be a mono behavior. This is going to be an editor script. And that means we need to come up here and say using Unity editor. And then what we need to do is tell this that it's an editor script. So I'm going to come on, Unity, load up. I need to look up the other piece of code that I need. Okay, so it's custom editor type of whatever the class is. So that's what we do here. We go custom editor type of, in the brackets, we put menu stylerizer, because we want this editor to show up when we're using the menu stylerizer. And what we're going to do here is we're going to override the GUI. So we're going to say override void on inspector GUI. And we'll keep our base inspector implementation, but what we're going to do is we're going to add a button. So we're going to say if editor GUI layout dot button. Oh, guess there is no button. What do we have access to here? Was there not a button? Is it toggle? Tell me there's not a button? What? Doesn't make any sense. Really? Maybe if I just use GUI layout? Yeah, okay. And what do we need in here? Let's just try putting a string in. What? No, that's a bad thing to say. We'll say preview profile. So if this button is pushed, we are going to change all the stylables to the current profile. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a list of profiles. In our menu stylerizer, and then we'll have a drop down here where you can select which one you want. So we're not only going to have a GUI button, we're going to also have a first of all, we're going to have a style profile variable for this as well. So well, we could just have it be current. We just use current. Oh, we can do a private one too. So we'll do private style profile preview. And then we'll have we need a list too, so we'll do a private list of style profiles. And that will hold all the available profiles. And what we'll do is we'll actually load in the available profiles that people have created. We'll actually load them in from a folder that will contain them all, basically. But we want people to either be able to select one from existing profiles or be able to drag in a new profile that they've created. Okay. This is where it gets a little complicated because you're kind of thinking back and forth between when the game's not running and when the game is running. But we're basically not going to allow this stuff unless the game's running, I think. So we can do that, I believe. I think we can wrap this so we can say if pretty sure there's a way of doing it. Never actually used it before, but there must be a way of checking like play mode or something. And look it up. The application class has a few items that might be of interest. Application.isPlaying and application.isEditor. You just change the material from the editor. Okay, so we can just do it that way then. So we can say if application, whoops, dot playing dot is playing returns true when called in any kind of built player or when called in the editor in play mode. Returns true if the given object is part of the playing world, either in or any kind of building. We just want to check if the application's playing, and then we'll do our custom inspector. And if it's not playing, then we'll say, please start the application. So we'll do editor UI layout help box. And inside that, it's just going to say, please enter play mode to test style profiles. And it doesn't like that. We need to set a message type, apparently. Okay, so message type dot warning, maybe. Okay. And we can set the wide bool to true. Okay, so we can test that right now. So if we just go out into the Unity editor, we should be able to see that because we're not in play mode when we click on menu stylerizer here. Yeah, there we go. Please enter play mode to test style profiles. Cool, that's exactly what I was looking for. That's perfect. And then we're obviously not going to be able to test the play mode stuff very well, but it might work. Yeah, preview profile. Okay, so it actually does work. I didn't realize we could play right from the prefab like that, but cool. So yeah, we got our preview profile button. Okay, so like I was saying now, what we want to create not only a button, but also a drop-down box here. So first what we're going to do is I'm going to do another editor UI layout dot, and I'm going to have this be like a vertical scope, or not a, yeah, begin vertical. And layout options. Forget how to set the style. I have done this before, but okay. So let's look at one of my other things. So I have an editor script called the dev options panel. So that should help us. Yeah, let's just open this up so I can have some reference, because I honestly don't remember. Editor styles.helpbox. That's what I was looking for. And then we're going to end the vertical here. So. What that should do is any elements that I put in here, like I want to put in a drop down as well. It should set that up. So we're going to set preview. I guess these do need to be public. Let's hide them in the inspector. I guess maybe I got to do menu stylerizer. preview. No, how do I access that stuff? I thought I would be able to. No, I guess not. Okay, so maybe I just need to have those in here again. So style profile preview and list. So I'm going to set the preview here equal to editor GUI layout dot So I want to make a drop-down button, I guess. Content. So this would be another if. Wow. Here's what we can do instead. First of all, let's comment this stuff out. But not this stuff, just so that I can see it without entering play mode while I'm working on it here. So what I'm going to want is I'm going to want to set preview equal to editor GUI layout dot object field, I believe. Yep, object field. Okay, so I want a label for this. And then I'm going to want an object, but it's going to be null for now. And then I'm going to want an object type. Let's see how I did this in the other script, because I did do this as well. And I can't remember, and now it's confusing. Float field. Enums. Object field, here it is. Ah, right, so I put the object type before it even. Okay, so object type is going to be style profile. Type of. Okay, so let's take a look at that. There we go. So now we've got this nice little box at the bottom of the inspector that lets us grab and throw profile in here. So let's just test to make sure that works. So we should be able to grab this default profile, drop it right in here, and nice. And then we can click this preview profile button and it will preview it for us. So what we can do here too is we can say if the button is pressed and if preview is not null, actually we can just say if there's not a preview, then we're just going to editor GUI layout. We're just going to make a little box here that tells you that it's not there. Make another help box that just says no profile set for preview. And else, if there is a preview, then we will say menu stylerizer dot instance dot what do we call it again? Yeah, update stylables preview. And that should be good. That should update all of the stylables then to whatever one we set that we wanted to preview. So now if we have nothing in this box and we press preview profile, oh shit, it didn't work. Update that. I guess it's only updating that when the button is pressed, maybe? Yeah, I guess that wouldn't really work, but we can just do a debug log instead. Yeah, let's try that. That should work, I think. If nothing in there, it should equal null, and we should be able to get the error to. Yeah, here we go. No preview style set. Now, if we set this one, then let's do this. Make it a debug log. Let's make a regular log for this. Let's say previewing. I don't think that's how you spell previewing, but I don't know. And we'll comment this out because that's just going to cause an error right now. But so now if we don't have anything set, Unity is still loading, I guess. If we have nothing set, we hit it, it gives us an error. If we set default profile and hit it, it should give us a regular log that says it's previewing the default profile right now. And I'll be right back, guys. Gotta go check on the kids. All right, I am back. So now that we've got this all set up, we should actually be able to test this. So let's uncomment our code here. Save it. We got our nice little custom inspector here. Should be nice. I should probably leave these buttons up, I feel like. So, here's what I'll do. Instead of doing like a full thing like this, I'll say the application is not playing, then it's going to say this, and then we'll just test it for these things a couple times. So this part here, the button, I still want the button to appear, but we can also say if there's no preview or application. Oh no, we should probably do that separately. So we can say if application dot is playing, then do this stuff, and if not, then debug log error. Please enter play mode to test your profile. So that way, if the button gets hit while we're not in play mode, it'll just display an error instead. So we'll still see this, please enter play mode to test your test style profiles. But we can still have all this stuff here, and if we hit the button, it'll just tell us we can't do it right now. Please enter play mode to test your profile. Even if we set a default profile, it should still just say that. Yep. And this will go away once we're in play mode. So I actually want to wrap this all into the same vertical style here. So let's do that. Just so that you can tell it's all part of the same thing. Yeah, there we go. Now it's all just like nice, one nice little thing here. So I'm going to set another little help box here, just to make this, just to tie this all together. So if the application is already playing, then we're going to do a help box. And the message type is going to be info. Drag profile from, and where are they going to be located? They're going to be located in scripts, gameplay, games, style, system. We could probably put them somewhere better than this. Let's take a look. We have probably be in scripts. We can create a folder within scripts. We're going to call it menu style profiles. And we'll go back into our other menu here. We'll grab that default profile, drag it into here. And that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to here and click Show Explorer. I'm going to copy this and add that to the little box. So we're going to say drag a profile from and eventually I want to have a list of the ones that are in there already, but it's kind of, let's just see if this works. Oh shit, it doesn't like it because of these. Maybe I could use the other dash? Yeah, okay. It doesn't seem to have a problem with forward dashes. Let's just press play and see. Drag a style profile object from asset scripts menu style profiles to preview. If I click this, yep, it should give us our little no preview style set dialog. Okay, that's good. So let's go out and back into our menu stuff here and just see. Did we set it up on here? Yeah, so we got background and border set up on here. So we should be able to see the changes here as long as I save this stuff. So I need to reactivate all the rest of the menus. Turn them on, save the prefab. Do we have any left? Yeah, you can have one. And I need to do the same thing in here. This is so annoying. I wish that I could reorganize this list a little bit better. Yeah, it doesn't want to let me do it. Really annoying. Like, I can't move any of these without opening the prefab, but if I open the prefab and move them, they don't move. I don't understand why. I guess they've been saved in these positions, but like, it's all unorganized now, and it's a really big pain in the butt. You know, like the menu stylerizer is here in the middle of the menus, and I can't move it up. It's so annoying. I don't understand it at all. I just want to test to see if this is going to work, though. So let's load the game scene from the start. And I've already saved, so I'm not going to resave. And what I actually need to do is this base UI background. I need to revert my changes that I made to that, because I was changing stuff just for testing. So I'm going to go to collaborate and revert my changes. Okay, now let's try loading the game and just see what happens. I don't have the actual default style set up, so it's just gonna like turn all the buttons black, but at least I'll know it's working. So if I go into this menu here, this is where I want them to change. Now let's go into our menu controller, grab the stylerizer, try previewing, it'll give us the error. So now we're saying, oh, we need to go to Assets, Scripts, Menu Style Profile. We'll drag and drop this default profile into here and click Preview, and we'll see if it works. Okay, so what's the problem here? Is it not properly grabbing our elements? Yeah, it's not. Okay. So what if I just set this up myself here? Just for testing purposes. Let's drag and drop these two buttons into here. Now let's preview. Okay, so we got an error. Item with the same key has already been added. Right. Okay, so we won't be able to use the dictionary method, I forgot. Can I just remove this one for a sec? All right, well, I've still got a little bit of work to do to get it up and running, but that's okay. That's all I have time for today. So thank you guys for watching. And we will be back tomorrow for our team stream. And I'll be back next week for some more work on the UI and stuff. So hope you guys have a good day. Bye, guys.